Welcome to HTM on the Line. I'm your host, Bryant Hawkins Sr. I have two special guests from the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. We have Lisa Gonzalez and Leslie Harrington. Today's episode, we will talk about what goes on behind the scenes at the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. We will learn about how Lisa and Leslie play a large part in the care of over 300 students that are enrolled, from assisting students with registration, providing professional development, and job placements. At the end of the podcast, we will switch things up a little bit. Lisa and Leslie will go from being a special guest to being a podcast host, allowing the ladies to ask me some questions about the day in life of an HTM professional. Without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. Today on HTM on the Line, I have two special guests from the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. I have Lisa Gonzalez and Leslie Harrington. Hello, ladies. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you for inviting us on.
Bryant, how are you?
I'm great. Let's start off first, ladies. Just give me a introduction, background about yourselves and your role at CBET. Let's go with you first, Leslie.
Great, Bryant. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here. So my name is Leslie Harrington, and I am the Career Services Coordinator at the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. I am also one of the co-teachers of our professional career development course that I co-teach with Lisa. So my role at the college is to assist our students in their job search in the industry. I work with our students and our military skill bridge students to try to find on-job training placement in the industry and work with our students to try to find the best job for them in the healthcare technology management career field. We work side by side, Lisa and I, trying to help our students with professional career development, resume writing, mock interviews, and just try to do everything we can to help them better their selves in the industry.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. Lisa, tell me about yourself.
Good evening, Brian. Sorry. Thank you for having us. I'm the Director of Student Services here at the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology and the Skill Bridge Advisor. So my role is to discuss with students their academic path and what are they looking for, whether it's a degree, certificate, what their end goals are, and discuss with them what we need to enroll them into those courses. I also work with the SkillBridge students. So as they're transitioning in their last 180 days of their military service, they're allowed to take part in a SkillBridge program. So I'll work with them with their dates, when can they leave where they are they looking to relocate to, what their skills are, and then obviously work with Leslie to try and place them, as well as working with students and people already in the industry who are looking for continuing education, whether it's, from certificate to degree or to go into the imaging field, just guiding them on what they need. And then I co-teach with Leslie on the professional career development side as well, which works really well for us, guiding those students from start to finish, because you really get to know them. And that's what we love most about our job, is fitting those personalities with the right company.
Now, you touched on your programs a little bit, so let's just go into more detail. What type of programs do you offer at CBET?
We have the certificate program. So that is 8 classes, and someone taking that as a full-time student, it will take them 24 weeks to complete. We do a transfer credit evaluation, so that may be less, obviously, if they have transferring credits. We also have a degree, the biomedical degree. That's a 15-month program if you're taking that full-time and have no transferring credits. We also have a new degree, which is going to be coming out late spring, and that's the HIST degree. So that's going to be Healthcare Information System Technology. So that's going to focus more on the IT integration, cybersecurity side in the healthcare industry. And then we have the imaging side, which is more specialized. So for students who are, already in the industry, one of the classes in the degree is basic X-ray, which is the first class introduction to imaging or basic X-ray in the imaging academy. And then you would go advanced imaging and then obviously specialize in, MRI, ultrasound. As well as we have courses DNV, CHOP B and A, certification prep courses. So we have a lot going on here at the college, and we also have, which will begin in April this year, our partnership with Charter College for you to get the HTM bachelor's degree. So you would take 2 years with us, your associates. 100% of that transfers over into the bachelor's degree, which you would then take through the college, through Charter College in Reno, Nevada.
Leslie, maybe you can answer this question. Lisa gave us an excellent background with the college, the associate program. How does that work? Like as far as the classes, how does that work as far as the kids going to class for, let's just say for the first month? How does the program work?
So our programs are 100% online, and a full-time student would take 2 courses every 6 weeks. We have some really great instructors, and they all offer a live webinar once a week. So a student with 2 classes would have 2 live webinars once a week, different times and dates. Those are all set by our instructors. And they will attend that webinar and interact with their fellow students, interact with the instructor, able to ask questions, and really dive deep and connect with the instructors and in that virtual platform. And then, of course, the students will have assignments on the student portal. They'll have different due dates throughout the week. Sometimes there's assignments due on Thursday and Saturday, discussion questions to get our students engaged and sharing ideas and just starting to connect and build their professional network among their fellow peers. And then all of our coursework each week is due on Sunday. And then the next week, the next week's coursework will be unlocked, and then the student will move on to the next week.
Thank you very much. Now, both of you can answer this question, or Lisa, I'll get you to answer this. Where do most of the kids come from? Is it West Coast, East Coast, South, Central?
We have students international. We have a lot California way, a lot of Florida. We do have the East Coast. We have some around the bases in New York, Texas, big hub. I couldn't sit and go 80% of our students are coming from here because it's online. I mean, we've got them in Guam, we've got them in the Bahamas, we've got them in all kinds of locations.
Leslie, what would you say the age groups, 20s, 30s, 40s?
So as Lisa said, with the location, our age group varies. In fact, this cohort, Lisa and I, one of our students in the professional career development course is a high school student, a dual enrolled high school student. So that was really cool to see. So we have ages ranging from high school to entry level, 20-year-olds just graduating from high school, all the way up to, I believe we've had a couple in their 60s. We've have students in all stages of their career. Some that are reinventing themselves after a career as an HVAC repairman, and they're in their 40s and they're decided that they want to follow a new passion and get into healthcare technology management. We have transitioning military skill bridge students getting out of the military after 4, 6, 20 years of service, and now transitioning into a career as a biomed. So it really runs the gamut.
So you said you had kids in high school doing dual enrollment?
Yes, we have. We've had a couple of students. They're already enrolled in a college. They're doing their degree, ready to come out. Both of them have biomedical family. They own their own companies. So they're around that environment and they speak the language and they've got a background.
I went on your website, of course, did a little research. And you had a question on there that says, building a future healthcare technology workforce. Now, I know you mentioned about the classes they take, but what else are you doing to build that technology workforce for your students?
Well, we actually produce at the college a greater number of qualified biomedical equipment technicians than any other educational institution in the United States. So currently we have over 300 active HTM professionals in our programs. So to us, it's not all about quantity. We focus on hiring, the right instructors, people like yourself, who are known and trusted in the industry, and care as much as we do, as well as, building up those industry partners. We'll look for any opportunity. We spoke today to a student, and he's out in Japan, and he said he's Skillbridge. He said, "Do you think you'd be able to find anything?" And I said, "Challenge on." Me and Leslie will take the challenge. We have no problem reaching out to anyone, anywhere, to build up that relationship and to try and get our students placed. We attend the expos. We're going to be in Nashville at the ICE conference in February. So we'll attend, AMI conference, join associations, anything we can do to knock on doors, to build those relationships, we're doing.
Right. You want to add to that, Leslie, or she summed it up pretty good for you?
Lisa summed it up pretty good. Just that we are so passionate about what we do, and those industry partner, that network that we've built, we're continuing to grow every day. We've got industry partners and employers reaching out to us on LinkedIn, via email, recruiters looking for biomeds. They want to be connected to qualified candidates. And that's what Lisa and I do every day around the clock, reaching out to students, trying to connect them with those jobs, and trying to find the best qualified candidate for the right position, like Lisa said, across the country and internationally. So we're trying our best to turn out the top-notch, high-quality biomeds.
Now, Lisa, you said, I want to make sure I heard you right. You said 200 to 300 students?
We actually have over 300 active students at the moment. So every 6 weeks, we probably graduate somewhere in the region of 40 to 60 students coming out.
Wow.
So placing them obviously is a big responsibility for us. So building up those relationships are key. It really helps that Leslie and myself are teaching the professional career development class, because we're on the front end talking to those industry partners. So we know what they're looking for. So as we go through that course, we're able to guide them on, mock interviews, what to say, what not to say, and, just working with them all, and, guiding them, which again is why we've got the HIST degree. We have biomeds that are instructors. They're forever looking at that industry and going, where is it going now? VR, the virtual reality, we have that, where you put on the Oculus and you can repair a machine. So they know time is money. Taking a technician out of the industry, out of their job for the day is money. So they're forever looking. The college is forever looking at ways of going, okay, where is the industry going, and what's the future going to look like? Telehealth, all those kind of things, and making sure that as much as we can stay on top of it, then obviously we can guide our students with it.
What is one of your biggest challenges in the role, Lisa and Leslie, you guys are having at CBET? Because I know dealing with a number of kids, you probably get a lot of challenges. So maybe you can share some of your challenges. Leslie, you go first.
Well, I would say one of our biggest challenges is just time. We've got so many students, and we literally work around the clock, Lisa especially, trying to answer all of their questions, help them fine-tune resumes, work on mock interviews, anything that our students need help with, trying to find on-job training placements for our military SkillBridge students, trying to connect those dots with the employers, find them the right fit for the right student, and just giving our students advice on how to prepare for an interview, salary negotiation, any kind of tips and techniques we can offer them. So I would say time is probably our biggest challenge, because there's just not enough time in the day to build those lasting relationships that we really want to build with our students. And then the other thing I would just say is probably communication. We really pride ourselves on being able to connect with our students, emails, phone calls. We're available on LinkedIn. We're always available for our students, and trying to get sometimes that timely communication. An employer might have a job opening and they want someone right now, and we might try to reach out to a student and ask for their resume. This employer is trying to get a hold of you. Can you please return their phone call? And sometimes the students aren't always as timely with their responses. So Lisa and I are trying to really impress upon them the importance of professional communication, timely responses to emails and phone calls from employers. Something as simple as having your voicemail set up to a professional voicemail, keeping your voicemail box open so that you don't miss any phone calls from potential employers, having a professional email address set up. Just those little tips and techniques are things that we try to teach our students.
Do you have one to share, Lisa?
I would say probably our biggest challenge, apart from time, as Leslie said, is building our network of industry partners. With 300 active students, we have relationships with some of the top biomedical companies, ISOs. It's just constantly building those relationships. So we spend a lot of time on LinkedIn as well, building relationships. As I say, expos. We've now got it to the point, especially in the professional career development class, because we end up with such a good relationship with most of the students, and we're doing those mock interviews and getting to know them really well. We want to place them with everybody. We want, that's our goal. And it's just, getting all those connections. But now we have the students that will be working in our facility, and they'll contact us and send us emails and be like, Lisa and Leslie, there's a job going, someone's leaving, or I'm going to be leaving. Let me tell you, this is the person to connect, to get another student connected to that job. So for us, in an ideal world, we'd have a connection. We'd have hundreds of connections everywhere to place our students.
You mentioned in there about the mock interview. So pretty much take me through how you assist your students with preparing for a job interview. We
do it with no more than 10. They have no idea what we're going to be asking them. They have to wear professional attire. They have to give feedback. And it's a great way for them to to look at each other and listen to how they will respond to a question. So we'll ask them questions and they'll all respond, and then we'll give them feedback and tell them, that's excellent, but we would add this to it because really that strength is there and you mentioned it earlier and you didn't bring that in. Or you may not get a job if you say that because, and then we'll tell them why, and then they'll 9 times out of 10 go, but I didn't mean it like that. And we go, well, they're not going to ask you, which is why we do the mock interview. Or, and Leslie can explain in a minute what she does with the resumes, but on the resume it says I'm organized, I'm basically put together, okay, and we go, okay, now we'll do the webinar, and we're on the mock interview, and we're like, okay, you have on your resume that you're, you have great organizational skills, but behind you on your Zoom is a train wreck. You've got laundry everywhere. Your dishes are in there. They don't think. So again, if they'd have gone on for an interview and they're saying these things, what you say and what you do are two totally different things. So Leslie can explain what we do with the resumes and how we're helping on the mock interview.
Leslie, before you go into the resume, I want to what you mentioned right there about the Zoom, Lisa, is so important because a lot of interviews are done by Zoom now, and they record the interviews to share with the hiring manager. And this is just the recruiter. And if you, like you said, your background shows clothes or the background looks a mess, that also will affect the interview process. And I don't know if you mentioned this, not trying to manage your process, but social media. I don't know if you stress to them, look, watch what you post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, because people will go to your Facebook page to just see what you're doing. And if you got something on there that ain't the best, they will hold that against you. So just a little caveat.
That's actually some of the main tips that we give them in our professional career development course. It's just all of those things that a lot of times people don't think about when they're on a job search, not just specific to the HTM career field. So that's definitely advice we tell our students to set up the professional social media, lock everything down, establish a professional LinkedIn account. And as Lisa was saying about mock interviews, we do them as part of our course, a group mock interview. It's one of our assignments in our course, but we also offer them outside of our course. We do individual mock interviews for our students that actually do have a real world job interview lined up. They'll come to us and ask to do a mock interview with a specific company that they've got a job interview. Sometimes they'll call Lisa and I on short suspense and say, I have a job interview tomorrow at 3 p.m. Can you please meet with me and give us some tips and do a mock interview first thing in the morning. So Lisa and I will shuffle our schedule and try to schedule them so that we can to give them some advice and kind of clear up some of those nerves too for our students. And after every single one of the mock interviews we do with them, whether it's a 15-minute quick check-in, some advice and tips of what to say, what not to say, how to word certain things, and giving them that feedback, or it's an hour-long mock interview Lisa and I will do with some of our students. They have all come back and said how helpful it was, how it really helped shake out the nerves, helped them tweak things, refine some things that they might have said or shouldn't have said, and really given them the confidence to go out there and nail that job interview and hopefully get that job offer.
And I'll just piggyback on that. One of the other things that we do, obviously, in the mock interview and throughout that course, we make them put their camera on, because, as you said, that is the way, things are going now. And most people are getting an interview on a Zoom, and people are uncomfortable. So we make them engage in the class. We make them have their camera on. They're all nervous about the Zoom, and we make them do an elevator pitch as well. And we tell them you've got 30 seconds, and that's how you're going to introduce yourself on the interview. And you've got to sell yourself to us. And again, we help them write that throughout the course, and getting to know them. We're able to say, well, you completely didn't, tell us anything about this, which again, we know is a skill that you have. And it's so valuable. And we've had such great feedback, as Leslie said, where students have contacted us and said, oh my gosh, I got the job and I gave my elevator pitch. And I did everything that you said. And they asked me similar, like more or less the same questions. And we've even had industry partners that have invited me and Leslie to be a part of the interview that our students are on. So we've actually been a part of them as well. And again, it's giving us great advice to be able to pass on to our students.
And you're giving me goosebumps listening to you guys, because when I was in school, we didn't have no one to prepare us for interviews. I just happened to go to a college preparatory school, so we took those classes in high school, but that wasn't even part of the program. How to interview, how to hold an interview, how to talk professionally, how to dress, because people come on interviews, you would be amazed. Some wear tennis shoes, no socks, no tie, no blazer. So listening to you guys, I mean, it's amazing. And I appreciate everything you're doing. Like you mentioned, my son went to your school, and as you know, I'm a huge fan of CBAT. I tell any and everybody I know, because I know what the results can be from going to your program. I lived it, so I can preach on it because I've seen the results. And my son is, like you mentioned, is in the field, and he loves biomed. I can tell you that. So what you guys are doing there is extremely beneficial to the people that goes to their school. And one more question I want to ask you. If I'm listening to this podcast, a parent, and I want my kid to reach out, I know you got the website, cbet.edu, but
they can go onto our website and inquire, and that will come through to us at the admissions department. They can also call 210-233-1102, and that will take you through to the admissions department. They can email us at admission, ADMISSIONDEPT @cbet.edu. They can check out myself and Leslie on LinkedIn, and we definitely will connect with you. We get a lot of students or even industry partners, if companies contacting us saying, we're looking to hire people, can you please help? So we get contacted quite a lot on LinkedIn. Any way you want to connect to us, if it's not me and Leslie, connect with anyone in the college, even yourself, and they'll put them in touch with us.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. I'm just going to offer this to you. Now, you mentioned my son went there. So now if you want, we can reverse the roles and I can be that parent that sent their kid to your program. If you would like to ask me some questions, I'll let you become the podcaster and I'll become the guest.
Okay. I'm not a biomed. My technical skills are zero. So what would you say is, are some of the really important skills needed to be a biomed, and what does the day in the life of a biomed look like?
In my opinion, what it takes to be a biomed, like I always tell individuals, you can teach them a skill, but you can't teach them will. So if you find someone who has the heart and they're willing to learn, that's a great attribute as a biomed. And that's what I told my son when he didn't know what he wanted to do. I said, well, let's try this. And I see this can at least take care of you. Because I know he's a hard worker. He just didn't have the skill, but you can get the skill taught, but you can't teach that will. And so I'd say if a person has the will, you could teach them anything. And that's a good attribute. And the other question, the day in the life of biomed, it's every day is different. Depending on the size of your hospital. If you're in a large facility, then you may stick with one particular equipment. But if you're in a smaller one, you may touch. Every day is a different problem. So you're not going to be stuck with one piece of equipment every day. You might work on IV pumps in the morning. In the evening, you're working on hospital beds or you're working on bedside monitors. The next day, you could be working at a clinic dealing with a scale, or you can be working in imaging, working with imaging equipment, or you could be in imaging as a biomed working on medical equipment, because there's equipment in every division and department of the hospital. So each day is exciting for a biomed tech, and it doesn't change. The only thing changes is the will. That's why I say if you keep that will and that fire, this is a great industry for you.
Can I ask, Bryant, what changes have you seen over the years in the industry? And what changes are you most excited about for the future?
Oh my goodness, this is a loaded question here. Changes are but the changes are good and the changes are challenging, because one challenge I can say is in documentation. Like when I was in the industry, we had to write everything down and we had manila folders, and every piece of equipment had a folder like a medical record for a patient. So we had to write everything down. So we had to have good penmanship, because the technician behind us had to read our worksheets. Now today we got cell phones, we got tablets, we got computers, so they can actually add equipment to the inventory from their cell phone. So that's a change that's for the good, but that also can be a change for the bad, because it's distractions with those same cell phones, with social media. So the advancement is so much better today. I think a technician can get so much more work done today than he could have when I came into the industry. So I think the advancements are amazing with technology we have today. The fact that you can teach your school online is an advancement. Because before you had to go to a school and there wasn't many out there. Like Louisiana only has one school where you can obtain a biomed degree in the entire state. So that's the best advancement of all this technology.
Well, one of the classes from you saying about the, reporting everything and having to document everything is the technical writing for healthcare, because obviously, they have to document all of those repairs. And a lot of people aren't used to doing that. And now they're becoming, even more stringent, and, they have to be more thorough. And that's what one of those classes will go into, is all of that documentation and, how to record those repairs.
Yes, and make sure they document from the minute if they work on it, as soon as you finish, document. Don't wait till the end to document. Document every step of the way. And document also your travel time to go pick up the equipment and bring back to the shop. And you got to make sure you document enough time to count your documentation time, because they may just count the time they did repairing it, but you got to also include the typing and putting it into the CMMS system. So documentation I preach that every day. Documentation is if you don't document, you didn't do it. That's what I tell my guys. If you don't document what you did, you didn't do it. So documentation is the lifeline of your work.
That attention to detail comes in very handy there, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the IT side, I mean, do you see that, from what we hear, and again, we're not biomed, so, some of the industry partners, would tell us that, it's always been sort of IT department over here and, the biomed department, over here, and very, divided. But now it's becoming more where that IT and biomed is more integrated, and having those IT skills is going to be more important in the future for a biomed. Especially again if you have telehealth and a lot more cybersecurity, threats and everything else that seem to be going on in the world. So do you see that need to have more training and, education on IT?
Absolutely. It's a lot of companies are making their technicians take a course called CompTIA IAM, just basic information, just so the technician can have an idea. But a lot of jobs are becoming available. Cybersecurity is huge right now, and they're really wanting biomed techs to come over to IT, because we on the biomed side, we always say a biomed tech can do IT, but IT can't do biomed. And so that's what we always say. But it's the way the equipment is being created today, you have to have some type of networking experience, because everything has an IP address now. Everything with cybersecurity is real. It's real huge right now. And there's a need, very big need, because a lot of the older biomeds do not want to get involved with the computers, especially the networking side. So it's definitely needed, and it's going to get even more as time goes on.
That's where I think those, CHOP courses, DNV, as you say, the CompTIA, and we have a lot of those, classes. The networking part is really important. Introduction to clinical asset management systems, introduction to test measurement and diagnostic equipment. I mean, I think the courses that we're doing is really, are really setting a student up for success, not just now, but definitely in the future. And a lot of those biomeds, as I say, that have had, through us the degree, are going, okay, I'm going to take the HIST one, but we'll definitely be reversing it with those students that do the HIST and saying, again, having experience in both angles of how the machine works on both sides is going to be vital.
I'll suggest this one thing to you. I mean, just me talking. Like, I don't know if y'all have, well, you probably have a roster of kids that graduated. I would reach out to them after being in the industry for 1 year and just see what their thoughts are of the industry and see the importance of what they learned from your training facility. Because my son alone, we talk, and he's night and day. His love was okay, but now he's completely engulfed in biomed. And I think a lot of that came from you guys nurturing him along. Of course, he grew up in a house with biomed, so he was always around it. But I think he learned a lot from your school, and you put the seed in him. You made the seed grow, I'll say. So I think if you was to probably interview some of your technicians a year later and ask them their thoughts of the industry, that probably would be a great fit for you too. Just thinking while I'm talking to you guys.
I love that idea of a follow-up check-in to kind of get some their feedback and what they can tell us about being in the industry. I think that's a great idea. We reach out to our alumni often just for different job opportunities. We ask them if they want to be on our job email blast. And if they do, a lot of times we'll reach out to them. They've graduated 2 or 3 years back and they're already in the industry, but then we send out a job that, piques their interest, and they never maybe would have thought about jumping ship and going somewhere else. And they see this great opportunity that we send out to them. So we definitely still stay in contact with our alumni. And I think that's a great idea to check back in with them and get their feedback on the industry.
Okay. And final, I'm going to give both of you an opportunity to tell the listeners one great thing about CBET in conclusion. I'll let you go first, Lisa.
Apart from obviously Leslie and myself, I would say it's our passion. Everybody at the college has such a passion for what we do and truly care about every single one of our students. Not every college has a career service side, and we'll be with you from start to finish all the way through. So the way we care about our students and our passion, I think is hard to come by in other places. To us, they're all like family.
Yes, Leslie.
Lisa took the words right out of my mouth. I would say that we go above and beyond every day for our students. And I'm blown away every day by the innovation. Lisa touched on it earlier, by our leadership, our instructors, the curriculum developers, everyone working behind the scenes at CBET is constantly improving and just really committed to high quality education. And Lisa and I are so honored to be able to work with our students daily to really improve their professional development techniques and help them get their foot in the door or career progression in the industry. And it's an honor to be able to help all of our students, especially our military. We have a lot of transitioning service members, a lot of veterans. We are really proud of all of our students and especially work hard for our veterans to help them transition from the service into the HTM career field. So we love what we do.
Once again, thank you, ladies, and I appreciate you. And anytime you want to come back on here, you're always welcomed. Just let me know. So take care, and until next time.